Hi, my name is Ezra Butler and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi. I don't expect you to subscribe right away, but by the end of this video, I hope you get an idea of what I'm like and choose to subscribe to me. It's been a while since I've filmed a long form YouTube video and I apologise for my inconsistency. I have so many long video ideas written down, but it's the transferring footage part that honestly makes my ADHD go, we're not doing all of that. But I promise that I'll keep to a schedule, and I really do enjoy filming longer videos like this, and I have so many words in my brain that are itching to get out. So what a more perfect way than to talk to you guys. Today I'm going to be discussing the disturbing world of red pill self-improvement YouTube. If you've managed to never come across content like this, then I completely understand that, as our social media feeds only really show us things related to what we've already searched / what we're interested in. And typically, if you're anything like me, which I'm assuming you are if you've clicked on this video, we don't really go out of our way to watch misogynistic, male-centered content. That could mean a lot of the time though that these videos aren't receiving the same amount of backlash that they typically would be, and therefore there is more room for them to cause harm when no one is seeing it to oppose it, and therefore stop it from reaching more people. Even though it's not a pleasant watch, I do feel like it's important to know what's being said on the other side so that we can call out the manipulation behind various creators. I personally came across this video idea while watching a documentary relating to the subject, and it opened my eyes to a world of the internet that everybody should know about. With video titles written to hook in young men seeking a purpose in life, it's hardly surprising that so many fall into the trap of these videos, because they don't start off extreme and they're all in the name of self-improvement.
Self-improvement. Self-improvement. Self-improvement.
With 2.2 million followers hanging on his every word, Hamza captivates his audience by telling them exactly how to be like him. The titles of his videos call the reader lazy, inconsistent, undisciplined, and cringe, all in an attempt to lower the already deflated self-esteem of the viewer, to eventually sell them the promised fix to their normal teenage feelings of instability. Being a young teen is already a challenging experience, because you're not really a kid anymore, but you're not an adult either, and finding your place in society can feel quite isolating. It's a vulnerable time being a teenager and figuring out how we fit in the world and what our own opinions are, which leaves an opening to being heavily influenced by videos that are telling them that they're not enough. There is a pattern for fitness motivation content to take a dark turn and gradually get more misogynistic. And when impressionable young people are targeted by content like this that could have started off by searching for fitness motivation or weights for beginners, it can change the trajectory of their lives for the worse. The regularity of Hamza's posts is astonishing. Every 2 days there is a long-form video, clearly monetizing heavily off YouTube alone, and it doesn't stop there. He has courses that require a monthly subscription, but before we get into that, I want you to tell me which one of these subscription services Andrew Tate, alleged rapist and sex trafficker, uses to teach young men how to manipulate women. If you're finding it difficult to tell, then you're not alone. The first is titled Library of Adonis, which is set up at $37 a month with the following courses: self-improvement, fitness, relationships, social skills. All sounds incredibly vague and broad for a supposed 9k value price. Of course, this is valued by Hamza himself, so there's no source as to back up the real estimated value of this course. Followed by his second course, Educational Content Creators, priced at a staggering $247 a month. I did the maths, and he has 498 subscribers, which is $112,512 just on this course alone every single month. The other tier, he makes $96,200 a month in 2.6k subscriptions. Again, every single month. This course promises to teach you psychological hacks to grow your audience and turn followers into cult members, which should read as a red flag for anyone choosing to spend money on this course when the teacher is admitting to knowing psychological hacks alongside the fact that he didn't say cult-like, he said cult. He's not referring to anything other than manipulating your followers so heavily that they feel a disproportionate amount of admiration for you. Let's bring up the definition of a cult real quick. This definition out of the 3 options most fits accurately based on the context and the intent behind it in relation to other videos. So a relatively small group of people having beliefs or practices, especially relating to religion, that are regarded by others as strange or sinister, or as imposing excessive control over members. When reading this aloud, it unfortunately does resonate with the tactic used in these videos, encouraging the viewer with incorrect claims about what kind of men or women want to divert any blame away from the man in the relationship. If these influencers can rile up more men to be passionate and think the same way they do, then they will. You've likely heard the nice guys finish last in comedy skits of people making fun of people who think like that, But this is the real deal. The false idea that being nice to women inevitably gets you nowhere. Being loyal and holding the door open is considered off the cards now. These falsehoods directed towards women then seem to provide a valid reason to dictate how women in their lives should be, and they're encouraged to not associate with anyone who thinks otherwise. This is exactly how they want their audience. Lonely and only further isolating themselves with their now outspoken red pill ideology. This keeps them exactly where they want them, paying for the next monthly subscription, hoping to become the man that you promised him he could be. It seems as though Andrew Tate's template on how he conducts himself is being carbon copied across a generation of young men in search of something to find purpose in. And influencers like Hamza are cashing in on this new opportunity to financially profit through misguidance at a steep price point. But Andrew Tate didn't come up with this obscure mindset himself, and often you can notice recycled content from the book Pimpology by Pimpin' Ken, repurposed as his own facts. Pimpology claims his job is to sell her a dream of glamour, success, and the life she never had. He's got to look the part he's playing. Which sounds very Great Gatsby, fictional, and dated. A man's job is not to lie through his teeth to trick his many girlfriends that he is wealthy, and just like a woman's job isn't to entertain that. It is highly unlikely that any meaningful relationships can be formed with this mindset, and therefore holds consequences like being further secluded from general society. The inability to maintain in real life friendships and subsequently looking to the internet for community to find like-minded people is not new. Many of us growing up found comfort in YouTubers who represented the person we maybe wish we could grow up into, and seeing them living their lives brought us a sense of hope for the future. It's exciting to find a creator that perfectly provides what you feel you need, but it's also unrealistic for any one influencer to be able to fulfill that expectation. An honest creator would not pretend to be all-knowing, because they're really not. Just because they're speaking loudly doesn't mean what they're saying is true. Flaunting the idea that men are more valuable if they sleep with lots of women, but it being the polar opposite response if women were to do the same, only highlights the message at its core. If all of these videos are harmless self-improvement content, then why are so many young men being slowly indoctrinated to more and more fascist principles? The misogyny isn't outright in your face at a first glance. Instead kept within the video, likely to the point that those still watching agree with the more controversial takes anyway. Then for the most manipulated viewers, they're happily paying an extortionate monthly subscription to learn skills to manipulate their own viewers, so Hamza can effectively create a sea of self-improvement YouTubers, calling the term next to avoid any and all accusations of discrimination. The most popular video on Hamza's YouTube channel was posted 6 years ago, and having watched this video alongside his most recent, it is very clear how he contradicts himself in what he used to preach. His blanket statements disguised as facts alongside text on the screen attempting to seem profound is only to reinforce these belief systems more. Hamza always talks assertively and directly to the camera, addressing his audience's negative self-image, offering a solution. His approach in his earlier videos is far less confrontational, while suggesting to learn about macronutrients, which in itself is perfectly fine advice. He had a somewhat balanced approach to the way that he was discussing his growth in the gym, making a point of not needing to weigh out everything and be severely strict in order to see results. However, Hamza now states that women find men most attractive at 10% body fat, because despite numerous studies saying otherwise, women cannot be trusted. And it's him who actually knows what women like. The average person is not going to be able to sustain a body fat of only 10%, and enduring the process to get that lean can have catastrophic effects on the body. I watched a video by Jeff Nippard, who has a degree in biochemistry, and he uses his scientific background and access to a medical lab to study what body fat percentage people actually are and what that looks like from person to person. In this video, he warns of the negative side effects that come with reaching a lower body fat than what your body is comfortable at, such as brain fog, lightheadedness, loss of menstrual cycle, insomnia. He went on to say, the fitness industry has said that 10 is the healthy, not too lean sweet spot that men should aim for. But I'm not sure that's true. Getting down to, or at least below 10% usually requires a lot more sacrifice than people are willing to make. And for the vast majority of men, 10% probably simply won't be sustainable without some serious dietary restriction and highly disciplined training. Now, this is an athlete's opinion, whose job is to look shredded. But still, instead of coming from a mindset that's fueled by toxic masculinity, unlike the creators I've shown you today, he admits that not everyone can achieve the same look as each other, and it wouldn't be healthy to. Influencers like Hamza will make you feel like they've changed your life for the better. Check his thumbnail. While simultaneously destroying your in real life friendships and relationships, and further damaging your self-image. But what can we do? As for the people that care, what can we do to intervene when, if they're already consuming this content, then it's much harder to come back from? Firstly, I think that if a video is going to be portrayed as educational content, then it should be the bare minimum for that to be true, no? Secondly, I think that we could reinforce this by a mandatory fact check zooming in and out obnoxiously on the screen. It would be so distracting that they would have to start telling the truth or risk losing their audience to annoying, uninterrupted fact-checking notifications. I am joking, but this would probably make a difference. Many men claim that they dropped the red pill after a breakup, and therefore the misogyny ties in with the negative views of the ex-girlfriend, but before he knows it, it is in and amongst an online community he wasn't previously familiar with. However, a bad breakup does not have to lead to hatred for women, no matter how badly it ended. It has nothing to do with her being a woman as to why it's over. And there are healthy ways to move forward after a breakup that do not involve watching guys who don't know you tell you exactly how to be. I've been through some breakups that have really knocked me back for a sec, and the most drastic thing I did was shave my head. And that was 3 weeks after the breakup, as he said that I couldn't while we were dating, so it felt like fair game now it was over. It's perfectly fine to want to change your image after a breakup. I know that I've glanced across the black box dye in my drawer and decided on a new look, but blaming the whole female population because of one girl who hurt you is not healthy, and the influencers making these men feel this way have no justification for this behaviour. I would like to end this video with one last thing, and it's that if you notice any of your friends making comments that seem out of character, and you think that they're possibly falling victim to this kind of content, then it is important that if you can, to not isolate them for it, and instead offer a conversation as to why they feel that way, and you may be able to quickly explain it away why their comments are incorrect. I found that a lot of people that have previously fallen down the red pill pipeline that I've come across that has since moved away from that have stated that their opinions made them fall deeper into the pipeline. If this is the case, then it can be crucial that those first initial signs of pulling back from social groups and those controversial, edgy comments that could turn into something a lot more sinister are done something about. I know this is slightly different from my other videos, and I've been sitting on this topic for a while. Honestly, due to the research being so uncomfortable to sit through, and criticising anybody is very daunting to me, even if it's valid or even necessary to do so. Thank you so much for watching this video. It really helps me out with the algorithm if you click the like button for enjoying this video. And please do tell me in the comments what you think, and we can keep the conversation going. Have a great rest of your day, and if you're not sick of me yet, then please click the videos on the screen to carry on. And if you got this far, please subscribe. I can only assume you either liked this video or it's playing and you left the room. And I'm talking to nobody right now. So either come back and hit subscribe or stay where you are and hit subscribe. Bye guys.